So so now we're really going back because I had to take the time to plot it out and think about it. So it was probably in like April of last year when we started making the plans to go to Greece and to visit my partner Drew's mother in Andros, which is this incredible island in Greece. It's like really very special. And she had lived here for over 50 years. She was from the Greek islands, but she had been swept up by the dashing soldier that she met during World War II. And, she wanted nothing more than to get out of Greek life and Greek culture because, that's all she'd ever known was this little Greek island and, being protected by her brothers and, all of this stuff. And it was like you had to really fit into these, like, patterns of conditioning. So she just saw, a dashing American. Oh, let's go see what that's about. So speaking no English, they had this, could you imagine, like, somebody just showing up and they courted, but it was like, how do you communicate? What do you communicate when you don't speak the same language? Well, they spoke somewhat of the same language. Love is that, that'll work. So they had this very traditional, thing, and then she was swept up and carried to America and then lived here for 50 plus years. And then as soon as her husband died, she said, okay, I'm going back to Greece. And her two children live here. So it was a very clear decision that she made to return to her homeland and to be in the place where her, people were from. And she didn't want her children to have to take care of her as she aged. She wanted her children to have their own life and to not worry about her. Now that she's 89, she misses her family here. She misses the community that she built. And we're all trying to see her more regularly in this island that she lives, and she splits her time between Athens and Andros, and it's magical. It's a super magical place. It's one of the reasons why the Greek islands have some of the oldest residents in the world, besides like Okinawa and like other places because they have a very deep, steep connection to community and clean food and fresh air and, just all this beauty. So she moved back there, and I said, I'd like to go visit her and bring my children. So this is like an education that I can actually give them and see that there's a place in this world where there's this whole other thing. Going to Andros is like stepping back in time about 100 years. It's really kind of amazing. And my mother, who had never left the country other than going to Sandals, like twice, was very xenophobic, had a lot of pain in her body, doesn't like to travel, didn't like to do, it was like, complains incessantly about everything. I was like, maybe there's this idea, we're going to go to Greece and it's going to be her birthday and maybe I could ask and we'll go have this place. And she said yes. And it was like, wow, okay, what did I just sign myself up for? This might be a shit show. I'm really not sure what to do about this. But then I planned and planned and planned, and I made it it was incredible. It was an absolutely incredible thing. And my mother actually enjoyed herself, which was kind of shocking. She did a lot of things that she would never do. And one of the things that we did is that where we were staying, we rented this amazing Airbnb that had like on this cliff's edge with this infinity edge pool for like $3,500 for the week, by the way, which is also like, there's a reason why, like, all of these European tourists are like, hey, Greek islands, they spend their entire summer there. I digress. We're on this beautiful house overlooking this, Mediterranean splendor, and we had a private beach, but that you had to walk down. It was like a goat path, and it was a little hard to do. And my mom had arthritis and back surgery and knee problems and all this other stuff. And I said, you can't make it down this goat path to get down to that beach. We'll just go to other beaches. It's fine. The last day we were there, she said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go down there. And I'll just hold on to you. It'll be fine. I'm like, okay, let's try this. So like inching down with her going, oh my God, is that the edge? Oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. I was like, Mom, we got a lot further to go, and there is some actual climbing that you need to do. I don't think I want you to die on the side of this mountain. Like, please, let's just call this a day. No, it's okay. I'm going to do it. And then, okay, now I feel okay. You go ahead, and I want you to videotape me to the sound of Rocky. Remember? Tan tan ta ta tan ta ta tan ta ta ta. So I'm doing it. I'm like, okay, Mom, go. And we have this video, and she's like, yeah, tan ta ta ta. And at the end of it, she goes, and cut. Now, don't tell me I can't do something, Gina. I said, well, good for you. I think I'm going to start telling you a whole bunch of things that you can't do, so then you'll actually start doing them. She died 3 months later. And it was just like, poof. What? She just started like doing these things. Jenny was very shocked and very saddened by it. We all were. She's 89 years old. Whoa, this happened. So she comes here, and I have a house and a place to stay, and her son lives with me. Like, why not, like, stay with us? She has kept me like this the entire month she's been here. She can only spend, like, a little bit of time with me and won't give me any more. And it's like, what's going on? Why is this? And now all of my grief is, like, churned up, and, like, the last meaningful time that I spent with my mother was with her. So it was like I really wanted to, like, be with her and kind of, like, process. And she wouldn't. She can't. She just kind of, like, so I get to see her with other people around. But as soon as we're alone, it's like, no. So she's kind of refused to spend time with me, which is interesting because I'm really sad and hurt and kind of wanting some, like, mommy love, and she can't give it to me. It's reminding her of her own mortality. She can't. It's like, and that's why she came here in March, which is like the worst time to come here, and she got pneumonia while she was here because she shouldn't travel at this time. But she's stubborn, like most old Greek people are. So I accept that, and I feel her. So if you have, like, these people in your life who are, like, really difficult, particularly family of origin, people who are the closest to you, your children, it's like the biggest root chakra relationship issues we've got are with the people that you want the most from, and then sometimes they just can't give it to you. So am I going to get angry and upset and take it out on her and wonder why? It's like, she's 89, and really, she's made her choices in her life, and now she's leaving her children to go back to Greece, and she doesn't know if she's ever going to come back to the United States, and we don't know if that's going to be. We don't know how long. But then again, she could live to be 105 because she's living in the Greek islands. So, it's like we don't really know. She's, we all call it, every time Jenny has come to the United States in the past couple of years, we call it her farewell tour. But then she's back, so, a few months later, it's like, hey, Jenny, it's kind of like, when the Rolling Stones said they were going to retire, and it's like, but we're back. It's like, there's no, like, there's only so much farewelling, like, if you're not really going anywhere anytime soon. So we're trying to find this balance of, like, holding on and, letting go, and it's hard. It's a difficult process, and so it churned up all the stuff in me, and I was, like, crying in bed for a whole day, and it was like, all right, I submit. What am I going to do with this energy? Well, I guess I'm grieving. It's not personal, exactly. So how I then learn how to kind of move into it, I have a lot of spiritual tools. I have a lot of practice. Things float up from my consciousness when I need it. The Radiant Sutras has provided an incredible amount of comfort for me, and I hope that it also speaks to you in the same way. Different things will come at different times, but this book is really incredible because it's thousands of years old. This wisdom is ancient, and so there's something very timeless and universal about the human condition, and particularly our heart. It's really, our feelings are so beyond us, and we kind of feel isolated or alone in them sometimes. And when I read something that's thousands of years old, that just goes, yep. It's like, oh, right, thank you for that. In this particular, the way that this book is designed is that the first half is a direct translation. Lauren Roche is a meditation teacher who's been studying and practicing meditation, and he's a Sanskrit scholar. Each word in Sanskrit has about 50 different meanings. So to actually translate Sanskrit is kind of like a meditation unto itself. You have to be able to put it together in a larger context. So the way that he's done this work is to come up with this beautiful translation, which really reads like poetry, like Hafiz or Rumi in the way that it is illuminated. And then there are the practices that accompany the sutras in the back. And the practices, then he gives us a little bit more information about. So this particular verse number 88, is about gravity and, like, really how we can't resist it. But also being so tired that you just can't do anything else. And grief, if you've ever been in the grips of, like, really intense grief, you just go to sleep. There's really, like, nothing that you can do to fight it. It's a fatigue that just kind of drops over you, and it's like, all right, I'm checking out, bye. And then you enter an unconscious realm, and then your spirit can kind of get what it needs there. So I have not been resisting that. And it's, for me, as a fiery personality, I feel that taking naps is like a waste of time. If I have to sleep, it's because I succumb to it. It's not because I choose it. It's not something that I like to do. But lately, oh, I'm tired. Good night. 8:30. Good night. Oh, nap time again. Okay, bye. So this particular verse gives me a little bit of owning of this energy and not resisting it, and also shows me that it's possible to change. Wander and wander to the point of exhaustion. Whirl until you lose all control. Dance until you are ready to drop. Then drop. Fall to the earth. Surrender to the swirl of sensations surging through your form. Dissolve in awe as arising energies continue to dance in your inner world. Beyond motion and commotion, become the body of ecstasy. It's like, okay, maybe I could do that. So the practice that goes along with it. The word kshoba in Sanskrit means shaking, trembling, agitation, disturbance, tossing, or emotion. In drama, an emotion is the cause of harsh speech or reproach. It's also a strong current of water. So all of those meanings, one word, kshoba. The practice. The technique here is to work yourself to the point of exhaustion, then throw yourself down to the ground. Surrender to gravity. Meditate on the trembling of fatigue and be born again. The mantra and the gateway is kshoba shakti. There is a yoga of tiredness, thank God, and we are all good at it. Everyone I know is running themselves ragged. Being exhausted by honest work is good preparation for the samadhi of rejuvenation. Samadhi means enlightenment. One of the meanings of Tantra is extending ourselves, stretching our capacity for attention and exertion. There is a sweet science to wearing ourselves out at just the right amount. This sutra focuses on the practice of wearing yourself out physically, and then, with the attention and attentiveness of a yogi, entering the shaking exhaustion and finding therein a gateway into Shakti, the vibratory nature of life force. Kshoba is a strong current of water, and there is a current of Om inside of us that's trembling. We all know the magic that happens when we lie down and surrender to fatigue. It's bliss, and you earned it. In this yukti, which is a transmission or practice, use the power of your yoga-enhanced attention to meditate on Kshoba Shakti and enter bliss. So when you're so tired that you can't stop, this one in particular was like dance until you drop kind of thing. I'm not in a celebratory like shaking, but I am definitely touching upon very trembly, shaky, unsteady ground. And to resist it, I'd keep going. But instead, I surrender to it and go into that deep space of surrender. So in your practice, it can show up as needing to fire up a little bit. Sometimes if you've noticed that when we have like a particularly energized practice, that you will have a really deep shavasana. That's kind of the point. It's like, what is the edge of your exertion? And then on the opposite end of that exertion is a deep place of rest. So whatever is kind of pushing you to that limit of yourself, emotionally, physically, mentally, is going to also give you that sweet opposite of it, which is this deep letting go and a letting go of resistance specifically. Don't resist it. What we resist persists. So as we're going through the practice, recognize, oh wait, am I trembling? Trembling in the body is normal for when we're really establishing a yoga practice, especially in the root. We have a psoas. The psoas muscle has been known and classified in research of yoga as the muscle of the soul. It's like, whoa, what's that? Holds very deep trauma. The psoas muscle is a hip flexor that it attaches on your low lumbar on the inside of the spine, threads through the pelvis and attaches to the femur that's deep in the hip socket. So it's not that long. It holds and records all root chakra cellular trauma. So when we're working with root opening and strengthening, all your warrior poses, our kapyasana, the stuff where pigeon pose, we're accessing the psoas. So all of a sudden your legs might be like, it's like you feel like jello. It's like, why do I feel like jello? These are specifically trauma releasing trembles. Whatever that trembling is, it's letting go of deeply held, long held resistance. So when you enter the trembling, go for it. Just don't resist it. You know, it's like if there's pain, then listen to the pain. But if there's trembling, go in it. Your shavasana will be deep. It's like just get to that. If you got to that place of the tremble, it's a good place. It doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel like something that we're conditioned mentally to want to follow. Follow it. Follow that deep quiet that will take you down inside of yourself. And then release it. It's like as we get that taproot sensation, it's like, okay, I'm dropping, I'm releasing it. And in that way that we release down, then when it's clear, you'll now be able to pull back in. If you think about your roots like the roots of a tree, then that is what we can do. But first, if it's plugged up and stopped up and there's all this garbage in there, you're not going to have a very direct line to receiving the support either. So enter the shaking, enter the space where you can do that, and then just really drop. And if you have something particularly up for you, then really call it in and then ask, can I have the strength to actually not resist this? What's my normal pattern of dealing with this? And can I do the opposite? And then that's a way that you can go into the gravity of what it is that you're experiencing. Gravity is a natural force. The earth loves us and is constantly pulling us towards her. Are we resisting? It's like give it away. Give this heaviness away because it doesn't serve you to hold on to it anymore. Insight is on the opposite side of it. So let's find our comfortable seats and close our eyes if we haven't done so already. And just notice, acknowledge, what is the state of our union today and in our roots, in our lower body? Can we feel that safe support? Then really lift and lengthen up out of the lower back. We feel a rising and a tracking upwards through the sternum. Maybe shoulders a roll. And then release them down away from the ears. So wherever your hands naturally rest, support for your meditation practice. If you feel like you need some more grounding and connection to your body to feel safe, have your palms facing down. It's the warmth of yourself and this connection. If you feel you are grounded and feel good, you want to connect to your more subtle energy, turn your palms facing up. Lightly connect the tip of the thumb and the forefinger. This forms Jnana Mudra, the mudra of self-awareness. So you start to scan then further, a little bit from head to toe, noticing your qualities of energy this morning. How did you rest? Is your digestion okay? Any chronic conditions? And just noticing, but without judgment. There is no good or bad. And connect now to the deep, slow breath. As you inhale, really flood all the way down to the pelvic floor. Gush it out. Clearing and sweeping out. Do that a few more times. You can make sound or sigh if it feels good. Really bring your mind all the way into the pelvic floor. And start to layer in your deep Ujjayi breathing. Ujjayi is an oceanic sound constricting the back of the throat on the inhales and exhales. It's the same muscles that you use when you whisper or if you're trying to fog up a mirror. This will help you to burn through whatever it is that's here for you to let go of today. When we enter this meditative space, setting our collective intentions to not resist whatever energy needs to be released from us, to enter a place of shaking so that we can let go and transmute it. A deeper surrender waits on the opposite side. We open the practice by chanting Om 3 times together. Inhale deeply for Om.